Part 1. Into the Abyss. The abyss was silent, save for the haunting hum of the ship's engines as it cut through the void. Inside, Ethan Marlowe sat in the cockpit, his hands gripping the controls like a lifeline. He was alone, save for the faint, rhythmic breathing of the ship's AI, Cassio. The stars outside shimmered like ancient specters, guardians of secrets long buried in the darkness. Ethan's eyes scanned the control panel, little more than a glowing mosaic of symbols and numbers that seemed to shift with every breath. Suddenly, an alert sound pierced the quiet. "Cassio! Report!" Ethan's voice was steady, though his heart pounded a wild tattoo. "Proximity alert," Cassio responded, her voice smooth and detached. "Unknown object on collision course. 30 seconds to impact." Ethan's mind raced, calculating trajectories, probabilities, the thin line between survival and oblivion. He pulled hard on the controls, sending the ship into a steep dive through the inky expanse. G-forces pressed against him, an oppressive weight that demanded more than he could give. The hull groaned in protest, a metallic symphony of tension and strain. For a moment, reality blurred as the stars smeared into streaks of light. Then, with a suddenness that left him breathless, the ship stabilized. The collision had been averted. Ethan exhaled a long, shaky breath. "What the hell was that, Cassio?" "Object identified as a fragment of space debris. Trajectory suggests it recently entered this sector." Ethan frowned. The sector was supposed to be void of such hazards. "Where did it come from?" "Source unknown. Anomalies detected. Recommend further investigation." He nodded, partly to himself. The mission was already precarious enough without mysteries piling up like skeletal fingers reaching for him from the shadows. As he plotted a course to investigate the anomaly, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched, as if the universe itself had turned its gaze upon him, whispering secrets he wasn't meant to hear. The ship glided toward the coordinates Cassio provided. Soon, a massive, derelict structure loomed before them, an ancient sentinel adrift in the cosmic sea. It was a station of sorts, its architecture unfamiliar, a fusion of organic curves and jagged metal, a relic from an era forgotten by time. "Cassio, scan for life signs." Scanning. No life signs detected. Yet Ethan sensed an energy, a pulse beneath the decay. He donned his suit, the fabric whispering as it sealed around him, and initiated the airlock sequence. The hatch opened with a groan, revealing the station's yawning maw, an invitation to the unknown. He floated inside, the mag boots clicking softly against the metallic floor. Shadows twisted in the dim light, playing tricks on his eyes. He moved deeper, each step echoing in the silence. Then he saw it, a chamber filled with crystalline pods, each containing a figure suspended in a dreamlike state, human, yet not quite. Their features were sharp, eerie, and beautiful in their alien symmetry. Ethan approached cautiously. "Cassio, analyze these beings." Analysis indicates genetic similarities to humans. However, significant deviations suggest a different evolutionary path. His heart pounded faster. "Why are they here?" Before Cassio could answer, the station shuddered violently, lights flickering, systems groaning to life as ancient mechanisms awoke from their slumber. "Warning," Cassio's voice was tense. "Energy surge detected. The station is coming online." Ethan realized with a jolt that the pods were linked to the station's power grid. Whatever had been dormant was waking up. He turned to leave, but the path he'd come through was sealed. panic prickled beneath his skin. "Cassio! Get me out of here!" Attempting to override lockdown protocols. As Cassio worked, Ethan's eyes returned to the pods. What if these beings had answers? Answers to the long-forgotten questions of his expedition. Or maybe even to the mysteries of his past. He knew it was a gamble, but he couldn't leave without trying. He approached the nearest pod. The controls were alien, yet somehow intuitive, as if his presence had unlocked something within the station's memory. He hesitated for a heartbeat, then activated the sequence. The pod hissed open, releasing a mist that dissipated into the ether. The being's eyes fluttered open, a deep, knowing blue that seemed to pierce through the veil of time. "Who are you?" Ethan found himself asking, though he wasn't sure if he expected an answer. The being spoke, its voice echoing softly in his mind, bypassing speech. "I am the Sentinel, guardian of this threshold. You have awakened us." "Why were you here?" Ethan pressed, feeling the urgency of unraveling threads that could slip from his grasp at any moment. "To preserve and to warn." The station shuddered again, more violently this time. "Warn of what?" "The darkness. The void you call home is not empty. It hungers, a shadow devouring the light." Ethan's mind reeled. Suddenly the expedition took on a new gravity, one that threatened to swallow him whole. He had unwittingly awoken forces beyond his understanding. "Cassio, I need an exit now!" "Alternate route detected. Follow my path." Ethan relinquished the Sentinel, a silent agreement passing between them. He turned, following Cassio's guidance, his every step a beat in the rapid tempo of his heart. As he fled through the station's bowels, the shadows stretched and writhed, as if trying to grasp him in their cold embrace. He could feel the Sentinel's presence, a whisper in the fabric of his thoughts, urging him onward. Finally, he reached an airlock, the controls illuminated by a pale, otherworldly glow. Cassio unlocked it with a hiss of escaping air. Ethan staggered into the airlock, slamming the controls to cycle it closed. He tore off his helmet, gasping as the ship's familiar atmosphere filled his lungs. But as he settled back into the cockpit, he knew nothing would ever be familiar again. The stars outside seemed more distant, shrouded by the knowledge of what lay beyond their light. "Cassio," Ethan said, his voice steady despite the resolve burning within him. "Set a course for the edge of known space. We have to warn them." "Course plotted," Cassio replied, her tone as unwavering as his conviction. As the ship's engines roared to life, propelling them toward a destiny shrouded in uncertainty, Ethan knew the journey ahead would be fraught with peril. But it was a path he had to tread. For the light and for the truth. The Sentinel's warning echoed in his mind, a haunting promise of what lied in the abyss beyond the stars. It was a threshold he had crossed, and there was no turning back. The universe awaited, vast and unknown, ready to reveal its secrets to those brave enough to seek them. And Ethan Marlowe was prepared to find them or be consumed by them. Shadow of the Void. Stars blazed past the cockpit as Ethan Marlowe's ship sped through the cosmos, a solitary arrow cutting through the infinite night. The journey was silent, save for the low hum of the engines and the ever-present rhythm of his own breathing. He felt the weight of the Sentinel's prophecy pressing down on him, an unseen force sculpting his path. Inside, Cassio's voice broke the quiet, a soft intrusion into his thoughts. Ethan, we are approaching the edge of known space. Scanners detect a gravitational anomaly. Ethan's fingers danced over the controls, adrenaline sharpening his focus. The edge of known space, a frontier of mysteries and legends, where maps ended and speculation began. What do you make of it, Cassio? Unknown. The anomaly distorts time and space readings, rendering them unreliable. Ethan stared at the swirling mass on the view screen, a churning vortex of darkness rimmed with a halo of light. Could it be a passage? A gateway? He mused. The thought was both exhilarating and terrifying. Possibility exists, Cassio replied cautiously. Entering could be hazardous. Despite the risk, Ethan felt the pull of the unknown, an insistent whisper that urged him forward. He had come too far to turn back now. Prepare the ship. We're going through. The engines roared in defiance of the void as the ship surrendered to the anomaly's grip. Reality twisted, stars bending, time stretching into a tapestry of surreal impressions. The boundary between past and future blurred, an ethereal dance that spun around him. Then, with a disorienting lurch, they emerged into an unfamiliar space. Ethan sat wide-eyed at the sight before him. A vast, luminescent nebula stretched across the expanse, colors dancing vividly, painting the darkness with hues unknown to human eyes. Within the nebula, a colossal structure floated silently, its intricate design alien yet eerily organic. It was as if a city had been carved from the stars themselves, a temple of celestial architecture. Scanning, Cassio announced. No identifiable energy signatures, but gravitational stability suggests artificial origin. Ethan's heart raced with the thrill of discovery. Is there any way in? Potential entry points detected, guidance plotted. The ship maneuvered closer, skimming the surface of the nebula as Ethan guided it toward an aperture that gaped like a maw in the structure's side. He navigated carefully, the ship gliding through the opening with an almost reverent grace. Inside, the structure revealed a labyrinthine network of passages and chambers, their walls pulsing with a soft, ethereal glow. Ethan donned his suit once more. The cool embrace of the fabric, a familiar comfort. He stepped into the airlock, the door hissing open to reveal a corridor bathed in shimmering light. As he advanced, the atmosphere was thick with anticipation, a living essence that seemed to breathe with him. Ethan's footsteps reverberated in the stillness, the sound swallowed by the immensity of the place. Then, somewhere deeper within, he heard an echoing hum, a resonance that vibrated through the very marrow of the structure. Drawn toward the sound, he moved with purpose, each step a calculated stride toward understanding. The corridor opened into a vast chamber, its ceiling arched like the sky itself, studded with orbs of light that mimicked constellations. At the chamber's center stood a monolithic device, its surface a cascade of symbols and patterns etched in glowing script. It thrummed with power, a synecdoche of the universe's secrets. Cassio, can you decipher this? Attempting translation, Cassio responded, her tone tinged with curiosity. The language is unfamiliar, not matching any known dialect. However, it appears to be a form of communication through light frequencies. Ethan approached the monolith, the air around it vibrating with an intensity that was both profound and cautionary. He reached out, his fingertips brushing the surface, and the symbols flared to life. Suddenly, the chamber filled with a holographic projection, a panorama of worlds and stars, a cosmic tapestry woven from the threads of creation. Amidst it all, a shadow loomed, a figure that seemed to merge with the very foundation of the cosmos. "Who are you?" Ethan asked, the question spiraling into the ether. The shadow shifted, the darkness giving birth to an apparition of light and shadow. "I am the Arbiter," it spoke, its voice a chorus of celestial harmonies, keeper of the balance. Ethan felt the weight of those words, an invocation of destiny that entwined him with forces beyond his ken. "The Sentinel warned me of a void that hungers. Is this the balance?" "The void is a force of entropy," the Arbiter intoned. "A predatory chaos that seeks to consume all. Your actions have awakened the balance, a counterforce of creation and order." Ethan's heart caught in his throat. The stakes were higher than he ever imagined. The cosmic dance was one of destruction and rebirth, and he had become a part of its cycle. "Why me?" His voice was a whisper against the vastness. The Arbiter's presence seemed to envelop him, a tide of energy that resonated with his very soul. "Because you stand at the nexus. Your choice will shape the destiny of countless worlds." Ethan listened, the truth settling over him like a mantle of stars. He knew now that his journey had been more than a search for knowledge. It was a quest for balance, a chance to tip the scales against the encroaching void. "Cassio," he said, his voice steady with newfound resolve. "We need to unlock the secrets of this place. It could be the key to saving everything." "Understood," Cassio replied, her connection to the ship already working to synchronize with the structure's systems. As Ethan stood amidst the celestial chamber, the light from the monolith casting shifting patterns over him, he felt a profound sense of purpose. The path ahead was fraught with danger, but it was a path he would walk, guided by the stars and the silent promise of the Arbiter. The nebula outside pulsed with life, a universe reborn within its embrace. And within Ethan Marlowe, a resolve burned brighter than the galaxies spread before him. He would stand against the void, wielding the balance as his shield, a guardian of the light against the encroaching shadows. For in the dance of creation and destruction there was a chance for harmony, a song that resonated through the cosmos, and Ethan was determined to see it through, to the very edge of eternity. Part 3. The celestial chamber faded into a blur of light as Ethan Marlowe stepped back into the corridors of the nebula-bound structure, his mind alight with the revelations delivered by the Arbiter. The sense of purpose thrummed within him, echoing the rhythms of the universe. Yet, with newfound clarity came the weight of responsibility, an anchor he would willingly bear to preserve the fragile balance between creation and entropy. "Cassio, what progress on interfacing with the systems?" Ethan queried, his voice resonating against the corridor walls. "Integration is ongoing," Cassio replied, her tone a harmony of data and determination. "Preliminary findings indicate this structure predates known civilizations." "Precursor civilization?" Ethan mused, the term slipping into the ether like a memory of another lifetime. "Can you access any records? We need to understand their knowledge if we're to use it." Decrypting archives. Initial data suggests a repository of cosmic events and anomalies. Ethan's curiosity flared. The potential of untapped wisdom was intoxicating, a promise of answers to questions humanity had only dared to whisper. As he navigated the corridors, the environment around him seemed to respond to his presence, the walls glowing with a soft luminescence that guided his path. He paused before a glyph-covered doorway, the ancient symbols resonating with a familiar energy. Drawing a deep breath, he pressed his hand against the door, feeling the pulse of light beneath his palm. The door slid open without a sound, revealing a chamber that housed a vast array of crystalline constructs, each glowing with an inner fire. They floated in mid-air, their surfaces alive with shifting images and symbols. "Cassio, what are these?" "They appear to be data nodes," Cassio replied, the awe in her voice palpable. "Each one likely contains information compiled over eons." Ethan approached cautiously, reaching out to touch one of the nodes. As his fingers made contact, the chamber filled with a kaleidoscope of visions. Galaxies forming and collapsing, stars birthing in brilliant supernovae, civilizations rising and falling like tides upon a cosmic shore. One vision held his focus, a planet teeming with life, its surface awash with emerald jungles and sapphire seas. Alien beings thrived under its vibrant sun, their society a harmonious blend of nature and technology, yet a shadow loomed, an encroaching darkness that threatened to engulf them. This world, it's similar to the Sentinel's warning, Ethan realized, the recognition a chilling whisper in his mind. "The pattern is recursive," Cassio noted. "The void's influence spreads across different epochs, a cyclical adversary to the balance." Ethan withdrew his hand, the visions dissipating into the chamber's ambient glow. He understood now that his mission was not merely to prevent the void's advance, but to halt its eternal cycle. His radio crackled, breaking the reverie. "Attention, unidentified vessel," a voice announced, tinged with urgency. "This is the exploration ship Aetherus. Identify yourself." Ethan's heart skipped. The prospect of other travelers, other seekers of truth amidst the void, was both a relief and a complication. "This is Ethan Marlowe of the ship Solitude," he replied calmly. "We're on a mission to investigate cosmic anomalies. What brings you here?" "Our sensors detected a major disturbance," the voice replied, each word a testament to shared wonder and shared fear. "We were drawn here by the same gravitational anomaly." Ethan felt the tendrils of fate entwining his path with theirs. "I've uncovered information about a cyclic void threatening the cosmos. We need to collaborate if we're to understand and counteract it." There was a pause, a moment where uncertainty hung like a specter between the stars. Then, the voice returned with a note of resolve. "Agreed. We will rendezvous with your location." As the communication closed, hope flickered alongside apprehension. This alliance could tip the scales in their favor, a beacon of unity against encroaching chaos. The Aetherus docked with the nebula-bound structure, and Ethan welcomed the explorers aboard. Their leader, Captain Aria Lynn, was a woman of steadfast determination, her eyes bright with intelligence and curiosity. "Ethan," she greeted, her voice warm with camaraderie. "Your discovery, it's astounding." "It could change everything," Ethan replied, the shared understanding a bridge across the unknown. They pored over the data together, their minds weaving connections between the fragments of history recorded in the crystalline nodes. Each revelation was a thread in a web of cosmic significance, a map of the void's incursions through time. "The balance," Aria mused, her gaze contemplative. "It's both a force to be harnessed and a responsibility to uphold." Ethan nodded, the enormity of their task settling upon them like the weight of 1,000 galaxies. "We need to find a way to fortify the balance, to ensure it endures." Their collaboration was a dance of intellect and intuition, guided by Cassio's ceaseless analysis and the Aetheris crew's depth of experience. Together, they concocted a plan to amplify the balance through the nebula's energies, to weave a protective shield around vulnerable worlds. It will require precision, Cassio warned. Any miscalculation could result in catastrophic consequences. We're aware of the risks, Arya acknowledged. But it's a chance we have to take. The teams worked tirelessly, merging technology and ancient knowledge, their efforts a symphony of hope in the silence of the void. At last, they were ready to activate the synthesized balance, their collective efforts a bulwark against the darkness. Ethan stood before the monolithic device, his heart a beacon of resolve. "Here we go," he murmured, initiating the sequence. The chamber filled with light, a spectral dawn that swept through the corridors and out into the nebula. Light and shadow danced in harmony, a crescendo that resonated with the cosmic pulse. As the light faded, Ethan knew their actions would echo across the stars, a ripple of hope amidst the infinite sea of possibility. The balance had been fortified, a bastion against the void's insatiable hunger. Yet, even as they celebrated their success, Ethan understood that the journey was far from over. The balance would need guardians, and the void was relentless in its pursuit. With allies at his side and the cosmos as their canvas, Ethan Marlowe stepped forward, ready to face whatever lay beyond the stars, for the light, for the truth, and for the endless dance of creation and reclamation. The echoes of the cosmos were just beginning to unfold. Part 4. The Celestial Tapestry. Ethan Marlowe felt the ship hum with a renewed vigor as it traversed the glittering expanse of the cosmos. The nebula receded into the backdrop of memory, a vivid testament to their triumph over the void. Yet amidst the victory, a quiet resolve settled within him. The balance had been fortified, but the intricate weave of the universe whispered of more mysteries awaiting unraveling. Inside the ship, the air was thick with shared hope and unspoken questions. Captain Arya Lynn stood beside Ethan in the cockpit, her presence a steady anchor in the flux of possibilities. "We're receiving a transmission," Cassio announced, her voice breaking the contemplative silence. "Origin unknown." Ethan exchanged a glance with Arya, a silent agreement that propelled them toward the unknown. "Patch it through, Cassio." The transmission crackled into life, a symphony of static and distortion resolving into a voice that seemed to echo from the depths of eternity. "Travelers of the light, seekers of the truth," the voice intoned, its cadence woven with the fabric of ancient wisdom. "You have fortified the balance, but the tapestry of existence is fragile. Come to the spindle, where threads of destiny converge." Ethan's heart quickened at the invitation. The spindle, a term both enigmatic and compelling, a beacon calling to those who dared to tread the path of cosmic guardianship. "Cassio, locate the source of the transmission," he instructed, his mind alight with possibilities. "Triangulating coordinates," Cassio replied, her analytical mind piecing together the puzzle in silence. "Coordinates locked. The spindle is located at the convergence of several gravitational pathways." Arya's eyes shone with curiosity, a kindred fire that burned within her. "This could be the key to understanding the full extent of the void's influence." Ethan nodded, his resolve deepening. "Set course for the spindle. It's time we uncover the deeper truths of the cosmos." The ship surged forward, propelled by determination and the silent promise of revelation. As they navigated the gravitational pathways, the universe unfolded in a dance of light and motion. stars casting shadows that whispered of forgotten tales. Their journey led them to a region where space itself seemed to coil and weave, a tapestry of cosmic threads converging at a singular point, the spindle. It hung suspended in the void, a structure of intricate design, its spires reaching out like fingers threading the celestial loom. Incredible, Arya breathed, awe coloring her words. It's as if the universe itself has crafted this place. Ethan was struck by the symmetry of it all, the delicate balance maintained by forces unseen. Cassio, any readings? Energy patterns consistent with both temporal and spatial manipulation, Cassio reported, her voice resonating with fascination. The spindle acts as a nexus, a point of synthesis. The ship drew closer, guided by the unseen hand of destiny. As they docked, the spindle's structure seemed to pulse with life, welcoming them into its celestial embrace. Ethan and Arya disembarked, stepping into a chamber where corridors branched like the veins of a cosmic heart. The air was alive with a soft, musical hum, an echo of the spindle's timeless purpose. They ventured deeper, exploring the labyrinthine passages that whispered of ancient knowledge. Symbols adorned the walls, glowing enigmas that marked the path through the spindle's core. At last they reached an expansive hall, its domed ceiling a canvas of swirling constellations. In the center stood a platform adorned with crystalline orbs, each one pulsating in harmony with the spindle's rhythm. "This must be the heart," Arya murmured, her voice reverent in the presence of such grandeur. Ethan approached, his fingers brushing the nearest orb. As he did, the air shimmered, and a figure emerged from the tapestry of light, an entity of ethereal beauty and wisdom. "Welcome, guardians of the balance," the entity spoke, its voice resonant with the ages. "I am the Weaver, caretaker of the spindle." Ethan's breath caught at the sight, the Weaver a confluence of cosmic energy and consciousness. "Why have you called us here?" "To understand the void," the Weaver replied, the words a symphony of intent. "The void is a wound, a tear in the fabric of existence, and the balance is the healing." As the Weaver spoke, the constellations above shifted, forming a tapestry of intersecting lives and events, a chronicle of the universe's ever-evolving story. "The void seeks to unravel the threads of creation," the Weaver continued, its gaze encompassing both Ethan and Arya. "Your role is to mend, to weave the threads anew." Ethan felt the weight and wonder of their task, the tapestry of life a fragile masterpiece in need of guardianship. "How do we stop the void?" Arya asked, her determination aflame against the darkness. The Weaver extended an ephemeral hand, its touch a gentle ripple in the air. "Your journey begins here, at the heart of the spindle. The threads of destiny are yours to weave." A shaft of light descended from the ceiling, enveloping Ethan and Arya in its warmth. In that moment, they glimpsed a vision, a universe reborn, a harmony of light that transcended the shadows. As the light faded, Ethan stood on the threshold of understanding. The void might be relentless, but the balance was a tapestry of resilience, and they were its weavers. With newfound purpose, Ethan turned to Arya, his voice a steady promise. "Together, we'll mend the fabric of the cosmos." The Weaver watched with knowing eyes as they departed the chamber, their path illuminated by the spindle's eternal light. Their quest was only just beginning, but their hearts were alight with hope and the echoes of a universe yearning for harmony. In the endless dance of creation and entropy, they would be the guardians of the celestial tapestry, weaving the future from the threads of possibility. The spindle had shown them the way, and now they would forge their destiny among the stars. Part 5. Fractures in reality. The journey away from the spindle was one of contemplation and resolve. Ethan Marlowe and Captain Arya Lynn were now the custodians of a mission that transcended time and space. The responsibility weighed upon them like a mantle woven from stardust, its threads shimmering with the potential of their choices. Ethan stood on the bridge of the solitude, the ship now an extension of his will and purpose. The cosmos sprawled before him, a vast and uncharted sea of stars and shadows. Cassio's presence hummed softly in the backdrop, an ever-reliable compass in the vast unknown. Ethan, Cassio's voice broke through his reverie, a gentle intrusion that brought focus. Sensors are picking up unusual activity, a fluctuation in local space-time metrics. Ethan glanced at the display, a web of data and anomalies that danced across the screen. "Can you localize it?" "Calculating vector," Cassio replied, her analytical mind working in silence. "Coordinates indicate a rift, a fracture in reality itself." Ethan's heart quickened at the prospect. Another symptom of the void's influence? Possible. The rift's energy signature is consistent with void anomalies. Ethan turned to Arya, whose gaze was steadfast with the fire of determination. "We should investigate. If these rifts are spreading, we need to know how to close them." The decision was unanimous, a shared understanding that propelled them toward the heart of the anomaly. As the ship neared the coordinates, space itself seemed to ripple, reality bending like a reflection upon turbulent water. The rift was a gaping wound in the fabric of existence, its edges crackling with untamed energy that danced like lightning. It pulsed and twisted, a maelstrom of possibility and peril. "It's incredible," Arya breathed, awe and trepidation mingling in her voice. "The scale of it." Ethan nodded, his gaze fixed upon the rift's mesmerizing depths. "Cassio, is it stable?" "Instability detected," Cassio reported. "The rift is fluctuating, its parameters in constant flux." Ethan considered the implications, the danger inherent in such a phenomenon. Yet the rift was more than a threat. It was an opportunity to understand the void's reach. "Prepare for entry," he said, his voice steady with resolve. Arya's eyes met his, a silent affirmation of their shared bravery. Together, they donned their suits, the fabric sealing them from the tumultuous forces beyond. As they stepped into the airlock, the ship's systems engaged, guiding them toward the rift's core. The transition was seamless, the boundary between worlds dissolving in a shimmer of light and shadow. Inside the rift, the laws of physics were suspended, reality unfurling like a tapestry cut loose from its moorings. Ethan felt the pull of gravity shift, a gentle ebb and flow that defied earthly logic. The landscape was a surreal tableau of shifting hues and forms, astral constructs that coalesced and dissipated in an endless cycle. The air was thick with potential, the very essence of existence malleable and alive. "Incredible," Ethan murmured, the word a breath upon the cosmic wind. "It's like stepping into a dream." Arya moved beside him, her eyes wide with wonder. "A dream, or a reflection of what could be." Ethan nodded, the possibilities unfurling before them like a cosmic canvas. Yet beneath the beauty, a discordant note thrummed, an echo of the void's eternal hunger. They ventured deeper, guided by Cassio's steady presence, her voice a beacon through the rift's shifting landscape. As they navigated the fractal terrain, they came upon a nexus where threads of light converged, a luminous web that pulsed with a rhythm all its own. "This must be the heart of the rift," Ethan deduced, the realization a whisper of understanding. Arya reached out, her fingers grazing the threads. As she did, the nexus flared with life, a cascade of images and sensations flooding their senses. They saw worlds being born, Civilizations rising and falling, the ebb and flow of time and space woven into a cosmic symphony. It's all connected, Arya gasped, the truth a revelation that expanded her perception. Ethan felt the weight of the cosmos upon him, the vastness of existence contained within the fragile web. Yet amidst the wonder, he sensed the void's insidious presence, a dark thread woven through the tapestry. The void is here? He realized, the words a solemn vow. We can't let it unravel the threads. As they pondered their next move, a figure emerged from the tapestry, an entity of shifting light and shadow. Its presence was both familiar and alien, a guardian of the Nexus. "Who are you?" Arya asked, her voice a ripple against the weave. "I am the Chronarch," the figure spoke, its voice a chorus of echoes, custodian of the temporal loom. Ethan felt a kinship with the Chronarch, an understanding that transcended words. "Can you help us mend the rift?" "The rift is a symptom," the Chronarch replied, its tone resonant with the ages, "but it can be mended by realigning the threads of time." Together, they worked, Ethan, Arya, and the Chronarch weaving the disrupted threads into a harmonious whole. As they labored, the Nexus pulsed with energy, the rift's chaotic song quieting into a tranquil melody. With the weave restored, the rift began to stabilize, its edges knitting together in a dance of light. The tapestry was whole once more, a testament to the power of unity against the void's encroachment. As they stepped back through the portal, Ethan felt a profound sense of accomplishment. The rift had been mended, but their journey was far from over. Back aboard the Solitude, Ethan and Arya stood upon the bridge, the stars a silent testament to their resolve. "We did it," Arya said, her voice alight with triumph. "We took a step toward healing the universe." Ethan nodded, a quiet smile playing upon his lips. "And we'll continue to fight, thread by thread, until the balance is restored." With renewed purpose, they charted their course through the cosmos, guided by the light of their understanding and the promise of a future woven with the threads of hope. For in the vast tapestry of existence, they were its guardians, weavers of destiny, custodians of the balance, champions against the void's relentless hunger. And their story was only just beginning in the eternal dance of creation and redemption. Part 6. The Harmony Paradox. The Solitude drifted gracefully through the star-dappled canvases of the cosmos, leaving behind the mended rift like a healed scar in the fabric of reality. Ethan Marlowe stood at the helm, the vast tapestry of the universe unfurling before him, each star a testament to the delicate balance they fought to protect. Yet the sense of triumph was tempered by the knowledge that new challenges awaited. Cassio's voice, a familiar melody in the solitude of space, brought Ethan back to the present. "Ethan, we are receiving a distress signal. Origin unknown, but the transmission is fragmented, as if caught in a temporal loop." Ethan's curiosity piqued, the prospect of unraveling another mystery igniting his resolve. "Can you stabilize the signal?" "Attempting to filter interference," Cassio responded, her circuits humming with analytical focus. "Signal lock acquired, playing message." The voice that emerged from the speakers was fraught with urgency, each syllable a plea against silence. "This is the Australis, coordinate breach, need assistance, timeline divergence, repeating." Ethan exchanged a glance with Arya, whose brows furrowed with concern. "The Australis," she said softly, the name stirring echoes of memory. "A ship launched decades ago on a mission to explore temporal anomalies." Ethan nodded, the implications settling over him like a shadow. If they're caught in a loop, it could mean the void has twisted time itself. We need to help them. Their decision made, the Solitude changed course, drawn toward the coordinates entwined with the fabric of the distress signal. As they approached, space seemed to ripple, a distortion echoing through sensors and screens. The Astralis appeared before them, a ghostly silhouette adrift in a sea of starlight. The ship seemed to shimmer, caught between moments in a temporal dance that defied comprehension. "Incredible," Ethan breathed, the sight a haunting beauty etched into memory. "Cassio, can we establish contact?" "Establishing link," Cassio replied, her algorithms working tirelessly to bridge the gap between worlds. The screen flickered to life, revealing the bridge of the Astralis, a place of ordered chaos frozen in time, and at its center, Captain Marcus Hale, his image flickering like a projection stretched across centuries. "Captain Hale," Ethan called, his voice a tether to reality. "This is Ethan Marlowe of the Solitude. We're here to help." Marcus's gaze snapped toward the screen, a mixture of hope and disbelief written across his features. "Help," he echoed, his voice heavy with the weight of repetition. "We've been trapped, time folding in on itself, pulsing like a heartbeat." Ethan understood the gravity of the situation, the lives suspended in a temporal limbo. "We need to stabilize the temporal environment," he said, the plan forming in his mind like a constellation. Arya stepped forward, her presence a beacon of reassurance. "There must be a way to sync the Astralis with our time frame, to bring it back into the natural flow." Their combined expertise illuminated the path ahead, a plan unfolding from the shared synergy of innovation and intuition. They would need to create a temporal anchor, a point of reference to draw the Astralis back from the edge of oblivion. "Cassio, initiate synchronization protocols," Ethan instructed, each word a beat in the rhythm of determination. "Protocols engaged," Cassio replied, her systems aligning with the pulse of the universe. As the Solitude's systems interfaced with the Astralis, the space around them seemed to shimmer, a cascade of chronal energy washing over both ships. The stars blurred momentarily, their light bending in a spectral dance as time unfolded. Ethan watched the readouts, his heart a metronome of hope and trepidation. The synchronization was delicate, a harmony that required absolute precision. The Astralis flickered, its form stabilizing as the loop began to unwind. Ethan and Arya worked tirelessly, their focus unwavering as they wove the temporal threads into a coherent tapestry. With each passing moment, the loop weakened, the grip of timelessness loosening like the fingers of a fading dream. The Astralis flickered one last time and then stilled. Reality asserted itself, the ship restored to its rightful place in the temporal stream. Captain Hale's image on the screen resolved into clarity, his expression one of profound relief. "You've done it," he said, gratitude suffusing his voice. "We're free, thanks to you." Ethan felt the warmth of accomplishment, the satisfaction of lives saved and futures reclaimed. "It was a team effort," he replied, the sentiment shared by all. As the Astralis and Solitude floated side by side, the bond of shared trial and triumph knitted their fates together. The harmony of the universe had been preserved, but Ethan knew the paradox of existence was a melody that would play on. With one crisis averted, the crew of the Solitude turned their gaze once more to the stars, their hearts steadfast in their mission. For the harmony of reality was a delicate symphony, one that required vigilant guardianship against the discord of the void. And so they journeyed onward, threads of destiny woven into the infinite tapestry, the Solitude a light in the darkness, a vessel of hope carried by the currents of the cosmos. Part 7. The Resonance Enigma. As the Solitude navigated the unfathomable reaches of space, Ethan Marlowe stood at the helm, his gaze fixed upon the cosmic tapestry outside, each star a silent witness to the unfolding narrative of their journey. The rescue of the Australis had rekindled his resolve, yet the weight of the void's menace lingered like a shadow on the edge of perception. Captain Aria Lynn joined him, her presence a reassuring constant in the flux of uncertainty. Together, they shared an understanding that transcended words, a bond forged in the fires of shared purpose. Ethan, Cassio's voice cut through the contemplative silence, a gentle reminder of the universe's ceaseless motion. We're detecting a series of subspace anomalies, each resonating with a unique frequency. Ethan's curiosity stirred, the prospect of new discoveries an irresistible call to action. Can you determine the source? Analyzing frequencies, Cassio replied, her circuits alive with intricate calculations. The resonance patterns align with known celestial phenomena, yet exhibit unfamiliar harmonic signatures. Aria leaned closer, her eyes bright with intrigue. This could be significant. Anomalies like these might hold the key to understanding more about the void's influence. Ethan nodded, the excitement of exploration mingled with the gravity of their mission. Let's investigate. Set a course for the nearest anomaly. The ship altered its trajectory, drawn toward the harmonies that rippled through the fabric of space. As they traveled, the stars around them seemed to hum in resonance, a cosmic symphony that guided their way. Upon arrival, the sight that greeted them was otherworldly, a series of crystalline structures floating amidst a nebula of swirling colors. The structures resonated with a music that transcended sound, a vibration felt more than heard, threading through the ship and all who dwelled within. Incredible, Aria murmured, awe suffusing her voice. It's like the universe is singing. Ethan felt the truth of her words, the resonance a living tapestry that wove through his consciousness. Cassio, what do you make of this? The structures appear to be amplifying natural cosmic frequencies, Cassio observed, her tone infused with wonder. This resonance may serve as a stabilizing force, counteracting the void's discordant influence. Ethan's mind raced with possibilities, the implications unfolding like a complex symphony. If we can harness this resonance, it might provide a way to shield vulnerable systems from the void. With renewed purpose, Ethan and Aria donned their suits, the familiar embrace a shield against the cosmic elements. Together, they disembarked, stepping into the radiant embrace of the crystalline structures. The resonance was profound, each step a note in the ethereal melody that permeated the space around them. The structures themselves pulsed with a life of their own, intricate designs carved into their surfaces like celestial scripts waiting to be deciphered. As they explored, a figure emerged from the light, an entity of shimmering facets and flickering luminescence, its form a harmonic convergence of shape and sound. Welcome, travelers of the harmonic path, the entity spoke, its voice a chorus of resonant tones. I am the Harmoniarch, guardian of the resonance enigma. Ethan felt a kinship with the Harmoniarch, a shared understanding that bridged the chasm between species. We seek to understand the resonance and its potential to counteract the void. The Harmoniarch's form shifted, each movement a graceful dance of light and sound. The resonance is a manifestation of the universe's natural harmony, it explained, its voice an echoing harmony. To harness it is to align with the fundamental forces of creation. Aria stepped forward, her presence a beacon of inquiry. Can it be amplified, used to shield those threatened by the void? Indeed, the Harmoniarch replied, its tone resonant with affirmation. The key lies within the crystalline matrix, a conduit for the resonance's power. Ethan and Arya listened carefully as the harmoniarch guided them through the process, their understanding deepening with every harmonic note. They learned to manipulate the matrix, weaving the resonance into a barrier of light and sound. As they worked, the nebula's colors intensified, the crystalline structures glowing with an inner fire. The resonance swelled into a crescendo, a symphony of creation that enveloped them in its embrace. The process reached its climax, the resonance crystallizing into a protective field that shimmered like a luminous veil across the stars. Ethan felt the field's strength, a testament to their combined efforts and the universe's enduring harmony. The resonance now resonates within you, the harmoniarch intoned, its form a radiant glow of approval. Carry it forth, and let it be a beacon against the void's darkness. With gratitude and resolve, Ethan and Arya returned to the solitude, the resonance a new tool in their quest to preserve the balance. As the ship departed, the harmoniarch's presence lingered in their minds, a reminder of the enigma they had unraveled and the harmony they carried within. With the resonance as their guide, Ethan and his companions charted their course through the cosmos, their journey a melody woven into the infinite tapestry. For in the battle against the void, they were not alone. The universe itself sang with them, a symphony of hope and harmony that would echo through the ages, a testament to the power of unity and the enduring strength of the cosmic balance.